I'd like to introduce our first presenter, Keith Mabe. So tell us a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself. So, any prior real estate experience? What do you do for a living?
I'm native Houstonian, business manager, and I like to go to the Texas Renaissance Festival every single year.
And your wife, was she any real estate with her? Your wife, real estate? Any real estate experience with her?
My wife and I together decided to do this, but neither one of us had any experience in real estate whatsoever before this.
Awesome. So why lifestyles? Why lifestyles?
That was kind of an accident. I had listened to AM talk radio stations back and forth to work for years and completely ignored the commercials. But in the background, there was always a lifestyles commercial on the radio station like every 15 minutes. And promptly ignored it because I always ignore the commercials. I was interested in the talk. But it was one day, and it's like really having an issue with seeing a path to retirement. At that point in time, I had zero path to retirement. I had no savings, no 401k, no really anything. Long story. And so I was looking at the prospect of working until the day I dropped dead. Then I really actually listened to the Lifestyles commercial that day and decided to come to case study. The rest is history.
And your wife was 100% on board?
No. Wife is a born skeptic. Matter of fact, when I came to the case study by myself, I actually signed up that night. She did not know about that. After going through some of the training materials and stuff, I tried to explain it to her, and she goes, the first words out of her mouth was, "That sounds like a cult." So flash forward a year and a half later, I finally got her to the 2-day. After that, the skepticism disappeared, and she was on board.
And that's real common. And that's why when you do have your initial mentor meeting, we love to have both you in the room so you all, everyone's hearing the same information at the same time. So awesome. So tell us about this property. This is your third property?
This is our third of a 4. We had 2 before. We actually were quite profitable. We turned those and bought 2 more. And we actually have some cash left over. We're looking to get into multifamily right now. This particular property we refer to as the crack house. Because we really thought it was a crack house. It's quite a beautiful renovation.
Yeah, I bet your neighbors were very happy. So walk us through this real quick.
Yeah, it's not all cosmetic. There were actually structural issues, plumbing issues. It was built in 1949, and not necessarily well maintained for that entire period of time. So we had sewer replacement. It was huge undertaking in terms of renovation, both inside and out.
Yeah, we were going over the numbers. You'll see the numbers here in a second, but this is like an $80,000 rehab. So this isn't a first property type, and that's why the mentor is real important to keep them in the loop, make sure that the first property is right for you, for your experience level.
This is a big rehab.
This was a big rehab. So. So go ahead and.
Yeah, it was floor to ceiling trash. There was actually a water leak that actually traversed the entire house from end to end. It was uninhabitable. There was actually somebody living there, but because it was uninhabitable, they were actually living in the living room. And they had cordoned off the rest of the house, and it was just piled up with trash and furniture. It was horrible, and a horrible smell. But like Dell says, that's the smell of money.
We had a road trip last month or 2 months ago maybe, and we couldn't even go in for any length of time. I don't know if any of you guys were on that where I was running it, but the cat smell was unbelievable, and it was a hot summer Houston day, and that cat those fumes were powerful. So sometimes it is the smell of money. So you said it was a kind of a hoarder person, a hoarder, or just it sort of looks like a hoarder situation.
Yeah, well, it looks like a hoarder, but it looks like we think that like at one point it was a family home, and maybe the people that originally owned the home, the deceased, it returned to the family, and then they're just kind of compiling junk and storing stuff and using it like a storage place, and it just continued to pile up. It was just a horrible mess.
It's a really nice job. And this looks like a standard package that we do: gray vinyl flooring, inexpensive but good-looking vanities. And here you opened up. You actually did
Yeah,
some
we actually
structure.
took the original living room, this extra, was like a den, and we opened the whole thing up to a great room. So it really opened up the space, and it was really, really nice afterwards.
I bet your valuation came in pretty good too with that. So let's look at the numbers. So after doing all that work, $80,000 worth of work, we have an valuation of $250,000. The purchase price was $97,000. The rehab, as we mentioned, was $80,000. Closing costs for both closings were about $16,000, which is typical in today's market. 5 years ago, that number might have been $9,000. And so we have an equity capture of over 57,000, cash out of pocket of 13, a little over 13, for a cash on cash return of 15%, which is, who's getting that in their savings account, and a return on capital of over 400%. So give it off to, really well done, really well done. So we'll go on this is your third property. You'd mentioned that you had two properties. So you joined in 2017, sold off those two properties, your first two properties, and then now you're getting into your next portfolio.
Right. Well, we decided that initially when we joined, we thought we were going to get straight into multifamily, but some different circumstances, and the market really attracted us to a single family at that time. So we went out and bought two properties initially, and we captured equity out of those two properties. And then we turned around and bought these second two properties. And we bought the second two properties, got into them at a really, really great deal. And we actually have cash left over right now. We want to inject into multifamily right away. But it's our strategy to get into multifamily. But it was kind of a challenge getting into the first two properties. I'd ask a question: how many people are like not yet Lifestyles members are thinking about it? Do it.
Yeah, take action.
And I would say it's not having an avenue to retirement. I'm 58 now. When we started, I was looking at the double barrel shotgun of retirement. It's like I'm not gonna make it. But what we did was we had no savings, no 401k, really no cash, and because Dill's not here, is he? Because I use the Dave Ramsey method, and actually I paid a lot into my home. I had a lot of equity in my home. I actually cashed out some of that equity and bought those first two properties out of not all the equity of my home, only a portion of it. And I bought those first two houses, and at where we're at right now, I took that little bit of equity I took out in my own home, and I'm turning that into a significant investment that's going to allow me to retire when I had no avenue to do that before. Do it.
Very well. I would have told you that. Take action, right? So how's your perspective changed? How has your perspective changed? How has your life changed?
It's, you go from a point of I really don't have any path. It's almost kind of like, I'm saying no hope, but I'm just going to do what I'm doing, and one day I'm like, have a heart attack sitting at my desk, and that's it. Now I see a path, I see an avenue, I see the light at the end of the tunnel for retirement and being able to enjoy my later years and not drop dead at that desk.
And you don't have to reinvent the map to figure out how to do it.
Oh, and it's like
It's
they
all
give you
laid
the
out there.
roadmap. They give you everything. They tell you like, this is exactly how you do it. Just do this. I'm like, okay.
Don't go to the back of the book.
Yeah.
All right. So short-term and long-term goals. What's next for you?
Yeah. Well, short term is transition passive, which we're doing that right now for any multifamily leads out there. I'm looking. And yeah, after that, with Angela, I would like to travel and do retirement things and then continue to build our real estate portfolio.
Transition into passive. So sounds good. So on your team, you didn't do this alone, right? You didn't pick up a hammer and you didn't teach yourself. So who was on your team?
Yeah, actually, we did everything within the Lifestyles ecosystem. It's like I was saying, it's like they give you a roadmap and they actually give you the tools and resources to do it step by step. So everything we did was in the Lifestyles ecosystem. Robert found some great deals for us.
Robert Inclin, your realtor, Robert.
Yeah, Robert, with Lifestyles Realty, and did the financing all through Lifestyles Finance and All-Star Contractors, which is on the vendors list. I've used them before for one of our other properties, use them again, and I would use them again. They did a great job.
And so the vendors list is a great source to start with. If you don't find something, then call a mentor, and we can walk you through different ways to find good vendors. But with the vendor list, be sure to write reviews and leave reviews and read the reviews. Without the reviews, it really isn't the real tool, the resource that it could be. So please read and write reviews. And I didn't ask you if you wrote reviews yet, but if you haven't, please do. So great. So we'll open it up for questions. We've got a little bit of time for questions. Is there anything online for questions?
Yeah, how long did the rehab take on that house that you showed?
Yeah, that was almost 8 weeks. That was a big rehab. It took
8
a long
weeks?
time. Not recommended for first timers.
Yeah, 8 weeks is actually short for $80,000 rehab.
That's yes.
I thought the answer was going to be like 3 months, but the general rule of thumb on burn rate is about 6,000 to 7,000 a week. 5,000 to 7,000 a week, and that's a guideline to go by. Every rehab's different, but 8 weeks is short for 80,000.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.